I am so excited to talk to Sandra Lee. You may know her as Dr. Pimple Popper. My family has been watching Dr. Pimple Popper for literally years. We are huge fans, and I could not believe she wanted to come on my podcast. I was so excited to talk to her. We talk about her job, her husband, her kids, her mom and dad. We just talk about a ton of stuff. And what a lovely person, a beautiful person inside and out. And I enjoyed every minute of this conversation. So you might hear some noise in the background. Unfortunately, our neighbors are putting a new roof on their house and it's out of our control. So you hear a lot of nail gun action happening. I'm so sorry. I hope it's not distracting, but we couldn't get them to stop doing it. So we just charged on with Sandra, and I think it's a really great episode. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed being here. And here's my episode with Sandra Lee, Dr. Pimple Popper. We go snow skiing every year. And we love this trip. It's always the week after New Year's. And we always go to a place that has a kitchen. And it's our week where we buy garbage food, like Doritos, microwave pizza, like microwavable mac and cheese, and like horrible junk food. And we just binge watch shows.
Oh, really?
So the first year we went, the very first year, gosh, it's been years ago. It may have been the first season you were on. Your show is the one we binge watched.
Wow.
We found it and we watched it for the 4 days we were there. So we ski in the morning, come home, eat, watch your show.
So you had never heard of it, you never seen it, and so you didn't know what, and when you first saw it, you're like, what is this? And then so you had all the emotions, like the horrified,
yes,
being like, how do people live with this? That kind of thing.
Yes.
And then you cry a little then.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, it's just such a happy ending show 99% of the time. It's so rare that you have a case where you can't actually change someone's life.
Yeah, I feel very lucky to be a part of that. But again, it's not just me that does it. It's like I don't feel, it's really weird to be it's weird for me sometimes to feel like I'm thrust sort of in this situation that I have like this pressure to feel like, well, people are like, oh, you do these amazing things. And I'm like, I don't really, I mean, this is just what I do. And I feel really lucky to be involved with it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like Bert, like you and Bert make people happy, you make people smile, you make people. So I guess we just do it in these weird ways. I just pop off giant basketball-sized growth songs. Somebody, that's all. But it's just like a weird thing. Like, I didn't know that it would be such an amazing, interesting thing that would get you guys like sitting glued to your TV and watching it. I mean, how crazy is that?
Yeah, we're glued. We were like, let's go in now and watch more Dr. Pimple Popper. Let's go in now and watch more Dr. Pimple Popper. We could not stop. And we've watched you ever since.
Thank you.
I mean, for years now. Anytime we're all together, we always see if
So the
it's
kids
on.
too?
Oh, yeah, they loved it.
Oh, that's amazing. That
loved
whole
it.
family.
Whole family,
That's
all
really
four of
good.
us.
That's great.
Years ago.
You don't have anybody that's like, oh, I can't handle this.
No, well, me.
Oh, sometimes
I'm usually
a
the
little
one
too
where
much.
I'm like, But Bert and Isla love it. Like,
Really?
Bert had always been into, they would always Instagram like when someone has like a bug embedded and they pull a worm out, or
this is their thing.
pimple.
Their jam.
They've always loved that. Some funky thing on a toenail. I was like, I don't understand why you like that shit. It gives me like the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
But when we found your show,
it was like an even ground for you. That was like your bonding experience. Oh, I love that.
It was. And I am super into helping people. Like my mentality is about helping.
Yeah.
And even though you're just doing your job, so to speak, that's what your job does, is it changes.
I mean, I feel really, again, I just feel very lucky, but I feel like it's like almost like, it's just like, I don't feel like it's deserved so much. I mean, this is just my job too, right?
Yeah,
you feel like it's just what you do. So I don't know.
And who you are.
It's just crazy. It's crazy that it came to this, that I get to sit in spots like this and meet amazing people, This is just because of pimple popping.
I know.
I mean, how nuts is that?
It's crazy. I feel the same way. That I can't believe that I get to meet people like you. You were born back east, right?
I was born in Queens.
That's right.
I was born in Queens, and I moved to California when I was 5. So I'm pretty much California girl. Like I went to UCLA. I lived in LA for a while. So I feel like, this is like really where I'm from. But I then moved to the East Coast for a while, and that's where I met my husband, who's also a dermatologist.
Oh, I didn't know he was a dermatologist.
Yes, he's a dermatologist. We worked together. He actually courted me during gross anatomy, like over my cadaver. Yes.
That's
I know,
awesome.
isn't it romantic?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And so like he would like come over to our body as we were dissecting it and like check it out and give us advice of where to find like the colon and things like that. And he was just trying to like pick up on me.
Oh
That's
my
what
God.
it was.
He didn't pick up the heart and go, here's my heart.
Oh, he should have done
He
that.
should have,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Oh my God. Well, that's adorable.
He wasn't that suave. Yeah, it was kind of adorable, I suppose.
It was adorable.
But yes, it was. It is just like that was just like me being in the East Coast and like really just seeing this different world, living out there for a while. And it was fun and interesting, but like also going to medical school and really taking our time to train there. I mean, I think after that you go to residency and then, so it's like took us 7 years before we actually ended up coming back here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
After all your schooling was done.
How did you guys meet?
We met bowling.
Did you really?
We met here in LA bowling. We had
here?
Yeah, we had some mutual friends. And a bunch of people went bowling, and there was a couples team and a singles team, and we were on the singles team.
And you guys are both then independently good bowlers if you're going to go out bowling and being on a bowling team.
I'm a terrible. No, we were just for fun.
Oh, okay.
It was just a one night. Hey, let's all get together. I was the only girl that wasn't in a couple.
Okay.
And so my friends were like, we got to get you hooked up. Everybody invite single friends. So all these couples invited all these singles and just threw us all on a team.
So it was a way to socialize though, too.
Yeah.
Like a kind of
like a mixer.
And you're from like Georgia,
I'm from
right?
Georgia. He's from Florida.
That. Oh, okay. So you're both like from the South though, and the East. Okay.
Pretty much. We both understand bare feet and no shirts.
Yes.
Put it that way, very clearly. I understand that beast completely.
So how was it living in LA like this then too? Is it different? Like how long have you been living out here?
Well, I moved to New York in 93.
Okay.
And I moved here in 97.
Oh, okay.
So I had a really unique childhood in that when my parents divorced, I'm from a really small town, like 1,600 people. And when my parents divorced, my mom moved me to Atlanta, but she moved me into the gay community in 1977. So super progressive. Part of her brain was really progressive, and part of her brain was very not progressive. But her thought process was, where else would a little girl be safe but with a bunch of gay men? They're not going to touch her, in any inappropriate way. So they'll just love her, and that's where we're going to go. So I grew
that
up
was in Atlanta?
in Atlanta, in Midtown,
I didn't
in Atlanta.
even know this. Okay.
Yeah, well, in the 70s, in the South, where everyone is Southern Baptist or Methodist, you're not gay. You're not out.
Yeah.
If you are, you're in Ansley Park in Atlanta, and that's pretty much it. So she moved us into Ansley Park. And
that's really interesting, though. So she was she was okay. She's like brave to do that,
she was very brave.
In a way, because it's a different world than what you're accustomed to, right?
Completely. She was a very brave,
that's so
very
cool.
ballsy woman. But yeah, I think because of that moment in time, I was no longer really Southern. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Even though I love where I'm from and I love my family. We got married in the church is still on the property that my family's been involved in since like 1843. So I am very Southern, but that piece, that really kind of progressive, liberal piece from living in that community really changed me in a lot of ways. And I just didn't fit in Atlanta or in rural Georgia. So,
but you got to see sort of two different worlds and really accept them both and see how, amazing they both were. And
make choices.
Right.
So I could make a choice about where my thoughts, opinions, feelings, path.
So you moved to New York City after that? So were they excited about you going? Were they like, oh, you're going to go to New York City? And
my mom was excited. My mom remained pretty open-minded and kind of artistically thinking. My dad's a mechanic, lives in the same hometown. At the time, lived across the street from his parents, next to his brother or sister on the other side. I mean, like he's just a real small town guy.
Yeah.
So he was like, I can't believe you're moving up there. A bunch of Yankees. No way.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Right.
And I don't even know if he still has completely gotten used to it. No one ever leaves that hometown.
Yeah.
And if they do, they don't go far, you know.
I mean, I did my part of my training in Springfield, Illinois, which is, even though it's a capital, it's pretty small. And, the weather there is not like in LA. And so I would wonder, like, how do people live here? Because it's like hard to live there with the threats of like tornadoes and things like that too. And it's the family and the people there, right? And what and stuff. So, and I have really good friends that are in Atlanta or outside Atlanta. Yeah. And I just think that it's such a lovely place.
It's a great place.
Other than the traffic. I think the traffic there is pretty bad. Yes.
It's really bad. But Atlanta's a great place. Right. I have no bad feelings about any of that. My indicator was I wasn't making friends. I wasn't making friends, and I was trying, and it wasn't working.
Because you weren't clicking with people.
I wasn't clicking
like
with anybody. And there's nothing wrong with anybody there.
Yeah.
I just wasn't clicking. And I moved to New York, and I wasn't clicking with anybody there either. So I ended up moving here, and I started clicking. When things
started
going
bowling would be the place to find the best.
Totally. No, I'd already had a group of friends. Yeah. And then I went bowling, and then met Bert, and then...
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool story. We have a good relationship. I'm really proud of what we've
That's better than me meeting over a cadaver.
I don't know. I think that's kind of even.
Different. Yeah, well, formaldehyde. Now, when I smell that, you think, oh, that's like perfume.
Love. Yeah. All I think of is love. So you are Chinese?
Yes.
My closest friend is Chinese.
Oh, yes?
Yes. Sandy. She is here all the time.
Sandy, too?
Sandy, yes.
That's right.
Now, did you have a Chinese name and chose Sandy?
Yes.
Or did you?
My parents gave me Sandra. I'm Li Xiuping. That's my Chinese name. My parents are from Singapore and Malaysia. So they are... So it was like British colony, right?
Okay.
So they sort of have a little British sort of accent, if anything, and they went to English school when they were kids. So I don't know if Sandy's from China herself.
She's from Vietnam.
She's from Vietnam. So it's similar probably than our family. They fled China.
Yes, she fled China.
During a time, like her family went to Vietnam and my dad's family went to Singapore. My mom's family went to Malaysia.
Right.
So they're like the Chinese in those areas. Yes. So I think it's very similar in that way. And so actually we're going back. We usually go back every few years or so, and it's really special when I go with my family, with my parents. And this year we're going back the first time since the pandemic and all that. So, that has been really hard. I think because they haven't been able to see their family, and they have 10 kids on both sides. We have tons of relatives, tons out there, and so it'll be really nice to go back with them this time.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you speak Mandarin or Cantonese?
I can say very choice words, and then I can also fake people out because I can say one thing, and then they're like, "Oh, you can speak," and they go blah blah blah, and I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about," but I can say "You have a nice ass" in Korean. I can usually say that in most languages. "군댕이 멋있어." Even though I'm not Korean, so you can keep that one.
Okay, good to know.
Yes. You just can't say 군댕이 맛있어 because that means tastes good instead of looks good. So you got to be very careful with what you say.
That's so funny. Let me think.
But she can speak Chinese then, or she speaks Cantonese?
She speaks fully
Mandarin?
Cantonese. She's very fluent in Cantonese.
I can only order dim sum and say "Phai ti lo." That means hurry up.
Hurry up.
Yes.
Well, I know she was a refugee when she came to Boston, and when they came to Boston, she was about 7, and she spoke Vietnamese, Cantonese, and French fluently.
Fantastic.
And her mother said, "Keep the Cantonese. We'll speak it in the house. You need to learn English, and you'll speak English outside the house."
Yes.
So it's so funny. I'll be driving the car with her, and her mom will call, and she'll go, Mom, and all Cantonese. And I'm like, wow, it's right there.
Yeah.
So
it's funny when they speak that, almost like Spanglish, but I forget what it's called. When you speak
it's
Chinese.
Chinglish, she calls it.
Yes, but you go back and forth.
Yes.
Right? And then you're like, what? It's so amazing. I did not learn how to speak Chinese. I went to Chinese school, which was terrible because everybody else there pretty much spoke Chinese at home, but we didn't because my parents would speak Chinese mainly when they didn't want us to know what they're talking about. So I didn't really learn. I didn't learn Chinese very well, and it sucked when I was at the school because everybody else would know what to say, and I had no idea. So I pretty much hated Chinese school.
But it's probably because your other classmates spoke it at home.
Yes, so it was easy for them. Yeah. They could just figure it out because they spoke it, but I didn't speak it at all. So, so it was not very. It wasn't very fun.
Do you wish you had learned it?
I probably, I wish I knew it now, especially when there's so much business that could be done there and things. But it's really weird because I grew up pretty, and I don't know if this is the same with your friend Sandy too, but I grew up pretty like, I don't think I mean, I realized I was Chinese, you know, be pointed out to me, but I didn't really grow up thinking about it. In fact, I think the way it hit me, I remember is I went to Springfield, Illinois, my residency, like I was like in my low 20s. And it was one of the first parties out there. We were out on this hill and I was just sitting on this hill and I looked around. It was like a picnic and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by white people. And and I was like, I don't know if that's appropriate now for me to say, but like, I was like, I didn't realize that I looked different. Like I forgot that I looked different.
Wow.
And then it was funny because I went back to home like that holiday and I went to like Lowry's and like LA and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many Asians here. And I was thinking, but wait, I'm an Asian. Like so I kind of forget it. It's
That's so interesting.
It's a very weird thing that I think I just kind of grew up more like I felt like I was just
a person.
Yeah, like, you know, I mean, I feel like we can't say these things anymore, which is such a weird, but I feel like I call ourselves jokingly, like she does probably, like I'm banana, you know, I'm like yellow on the outside, I'm white on the inside, I feel like, so.
That's so funny. No, she grew up in Boston with a lot of racism.
Yeah, I can imagine.
She was made aware every day that she was different. And
yeah, I don't think I got that so much. I don't know what it was, or maybe it was, I don't know. I mean, I got it to an extent. Yeah, I grew up in LA.
Yeah, that's
so
why.
maybe I mean, not LA, but outside of LA, you know? And I mean, I think that, you know, you still got called things just because you're different. Anything that you're different, they're going to make fun of you. But, you know, that I have like no profile. I always got made fun of that I had like a flat face. But I tell people now, I can see with his eye all the way over here. Like I can see things that other people don't see in 3D.
That's amazing. That kind of your superpower.
Yes.
That's so funny.
That must have been hard for her, and I bet it sticks with her now, huh?
It doesn't. She's the most amazing, happy, free-spirited.
Did you meet her in New York?
I met her here.
Really?
My youngest and her oldest were best friends, kindergarten through fifth grade, and they went their separate ways with friends, and she and I kept each other.
Oh, I need to meet her.
Oh, she's amazing.
I get a chance. Yes.
You would love her, but she just has no. When she talks about growing up, it's a fact-based conversation. It's not an emotional-based conversation so much. Every once in a while, if we talk about, like, I guess the roughest time for her was when she was on the bus or the subway, and she got but they lived in Chinatown in Boston, so they were surrounded by Chinese for the most part. It's once she got out of Chinatown, I think, is when she had trouble.
You know, I did feel that when I went to the East Coast, I felt like there was a difference, like there was much more of a feeling when you're going into a different community, everybody's stuck with their own more so. And I felt like it was more, I don't know, maybe it's more fluid out here. There's just a lot of mix and more acceptance in general. I don't know.
It is a different vibe out here for sure.
Yeah, I did feel that way when I went to medical school. First time that I ever lived in the East Coast, really on my own, I was thinking, wow, like, you don't go over there because it's a different world over there. And, you know, just, I don't know. It was a very like eye-opening for me to see that.
Yeah, I bet. Our families went to Lake Havasu together during the pandemic. And that's the first time I had seen her. Target is a strong word, but it was obvious that the people we were around at Lake Havasu were like, what the fuck is she doing here? Kind of thing. And it was based on
weird.
That it was.
So you saw it yourself too.
I was nervous. It made me very nervous because I was like, I'm the white person here. I've got a defender. Like if something goes down, I'm a ride or die.
Right.
But I don't want to deal with any of the vibe that's coming our way. Why is it even here? It was so crazy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I grew up in the South with lots of racism as part of the South, as part of the fiber of the South. But I'd never really experienced what I experienced with her in Lake Havasu. It was really crazy. And maybe I was just oblivious of it in the South because I grew up there and I'd been gone so long.
And maybe you have a friend too that you're seeing it in their eye, you know,
maybe
like right now that she's right next to you. So you can see how that's directed at somebody. Maybe.
And I don't see her as Chinese.
So
I see her as Sandy.
Yeah.
I don't see her as anything. But I saw them see her as Chinese and was like, oh boy. But I have the reverse happen. I went to Vietnam with her.
Did you really? How fun was
I've been
that?
twice. It's amazing.
Oh
I
my
love it.
gosh.
We're already planning another trip.
That's
like
great.
last night we started planning another trip. But
Actually, I got to talk to her. I am going to Vietnam too.
oh, you should totally
Yes.
talk to her.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
I'll
We're
hook you
going
guys
like
up.
in a couple months. Yes.
Oh, I'll hook you guys
Yes.
up. Where are you going?
We are going to go to Singapore, Malaysia, and then we're going to go to Vietnam and a little bit of Japan too.
But where in Vietnam?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. My husband's surprising me with that part, which is very weird. He's like, you're not going to look. You're not going to go to the schedule. I think we're in Hanoi.
Oh,
the beginning.
beautiful. Beautiful.
And then I don't really know where we're going after that. We're going there for like 5 days too. I don't know what he's doing.
Hanoi's gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm sure it's beautiful. I've been to Bali, which I feel like is probably very similar. It's like rice patties, and I would turn around a corner and some woman would be carrying like a little trunk on her head, walking. I'm like, I mean, the most amazing women. I'm like, you are a badass. If you're carrying a trunk on your head and you're walking to, walking to pick up your kids from school or something, it's like crazy.
It's crazy. I've been to both.
Beautiful.
And they are actually quite different.
Yes.
I think Bali their main religion is Hindu.
Yes.
And then Vietnam.
I was saying like
is
the scenery, but yes.
Yes,
I'm
the rice
sure,
patty, the green,
right,
the
green.
lush. Yes, for sure.
And sadly, like the only reference I have is like the movies that we see, from Vietnam. Right? Yeah, that kind of thing.
It's crazy.
But yes, I'm sure it's different. And I have not been to Vietnam, and I think it'll be really interesting.
It's amazing. The food is incredible.
Yes.
Similar to everything.
That's similar to my parents. I'll have to bring food the next time.
There you go.
Yes.
Please.
We make very similar food.
Please.
Vietnamese. Yes. My mom is a fantastic cook.
Yes. Well, Sandy's dad owns a Chinese restaurant in New Hampshire. So she started working in her dad's restaurant when she was 13. She's an amazing cook. My daughter Isla pretty much only eats Asian food.
Really?
Yes, pretty much. I can't get her hardly ever to eat a burger.
I'm so proud of her.
She eats everything. She eats her salad with chopsticks. She eats everything with chopsticks. Pho is her favorite food.
That's great.
Her Aunt Sandy makes her pho all the time. Anytime she's sick, pot of pho
So
shows
has she
up.
been to Vietnam? Are you going to take her?
No, but I would
time?
love to take her. I think she would love it.
Yeah.
Both my daughters, I think, would love it. But in Vietnam,
Yes.
in Ho Chi Minh City, Sandy's mom has two brothers that still live in Ho Chi Minh City. So when we were there, the first time I went, her mom asked Sandy to take her brothers some money because they're not very wealthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Sandy has a friend there named Nam who lives in Vietnam, lives in Ho Chi Minh City. So Nam had to help us find her uncles.
Oh.
And they were in a part of Ho Chi Minh City that I don't think a white person maybe has ever been to or hasn't been to much.
Yes.
And so I'm walking through this part of the city with Sandy and Nam. And people are like peeking out their windows like, what is happening? There's like a white person walking down the street. I felt like the whole neighborhood was watching me.
And was it really humid
crazy.
and hot then too?
Oh,
we were
I
like
was dying.
yes.
We changed our underwear twice a day. Literally.
So you're all sopping wet and your shirt's like a
Yes.
see-through t-shirt almost and things
Pretty
like
much,
that.
yeah.
Yes.
Literally, we
Wow.
ran out of underwear. So if you're going
yes.
to run out, bring double
Yes.
underwear. Because we were like washing it, and we were sending it out of the hotel and we'd still run out.
Right,
It was
right.
so hot there.
So that must have been an adventure. Did you find them?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Two uncles, and they live in the basement of a building. And they were in one room with two cots and a bathroom and a hot plate. And that's where they live. They have a bicycle that they share. And it was amazing to glimpse into how they're living and
how happy though, yet and appreciative.
So happy.
And yes. Mm-hmm.
they were the happiest guys. And Sandy and I were looking. There was one thing that amazes me about Vietnam is I don't know how, like everything is like rigged.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like
there won't be
MacGyver.
one,
Everything's MacGyver.
everything.
Yes.
There won't be
Yes.
one plug in an outlet. There'll be like 18 plugs in one outlet. And you're like, how is that not exploding?
Yes.
In the United States, that would have exploded.
Yes, exactly.
Even like the power lines on the street look like bird's nests of wires.
Right.
Like I go, how do you even fix something if something goes
How do
wrong?
you even cross the street? You feel like you're gonna die.
understand.
Like you gotta like look all ways at the same
I know.
time and
Nam
just
always
everything.
says,
Nuts.
Nam goes, you move, they adjust.
Yeah.
You move,
Yeah, don't
they
worry.
adjust.
Otherwise you'll
You
never
move,
get anywhere.
Or you never go
Yes.
anywhere. You move, they adjust. You move. That became our like theme every time we go to the street. You move, they adjust.
Yes.
Because you're like, someone's going to hit me. There's no way I'm not getting hit.
Yeah.
But I love it there.
The
I love
energy
the culture and
just-
the people
yes.
and the food and everyone there is so nice.
Yeah.
And they're happier there, which I find shocking because I'm
Yes.
clearly American.
Right.
And
And they're very accepting. They're very happy and to show you their world. And, I think that's why it's a great idea for you to bring your kids there. And that I brought my kids a couple of times to Asia. And it's just a really wonderful experience for them to see and know that, our world is so insular here and they don't really see what the broader world is. In fact, my kids did the same thing that probably I would have done at their age. Like, I think one of the last times we were there, they were like 6 and 7. And the first night we went to Singapore and we were visiting like a third of my relatives there, which is like 50 people in this house, and it's super hot. They just air conditioned certain rooms. So we were like hiding out in one room at the time, the only air conditioned room because it was so hot. And then we went downstairs and my aunt was like, oh, let's all get together and take a picture. So everybody assembled in this room. And my younger kid, Stratton, he was sitting next to me and he sat down and he's like, Mom, why are all your relatives Asian? Why are all your relatives Chinese? And I'm like, because you're Chinese. He didn't even have any idea. He was like, wow, there's a lot of Asians here.
That's so funny.
Same kind of thing, yeah.
Our kids' generation really does not see
yes
color.
Yes,
which is great.
Yes,
yeah.
And it's just so funny that and they're so they're just so innocent. And I really think like to see that world and see how people really struggle in some worlds, and they're so happy though too. Mm-hmm. They see the bright side of everything. They should it really kind of it grounds you a lot more.
It does. Yeah. It makes you. It breaks down what's really important, right? What's really important is that you have each other.
Yeah, you can really get into this world here in LA, certainly.
Sure
that pulls
can.
You in.
It's super easy, isn't it, to get caught up? Well, what's the favorite part of your job? What's your most favorite part?
The people, the patients.
Yeah.
Oh, like that's always been my favorite are the, I say it's a lot like you are in line at the supermarket and all of a sudden the person in front of you turns around and you have to like have a conversation with them for half an hour. Like you turn that into something positive. You learn things about people. Mm. I've learned from my patients that like menopause sucks, which it does. Yes. Like I've learned the kids grow up, you hear all these lines like the kids grow up so fast. Or I remember when I was pregnant with my kids, I was like, oh yeah, I can work the same. I mean, it's not gonna have to change my schedule at all. I'll just build a nursery next door. And then when I'm ready to breastfeed, I'll just breastfeed and I'll go right back to work. And like, they're like, no, that's not gonna happen. And it's like, they're right. They're always right. They tell you, they have told me, I feel like the secrets to like living, far sooner than I would have learned on my own. They've given me the clues. And so it's just really nice. And also really, really, in a way, it's also like going to Asia in the sense that you just realize you really appreciate how life is long. And there's so many different things that you do in your life. And there's so many different parts of your life. Like one of my favorite things that I would ask people to sort of break the ice is, especially an older gentleman, and I'd ask like, what is, if you look back in your life, what would you say is like the favorite age that you were, like one of the ages in your life that you really loved, you really remember and think about fondly? And a lot of people would say, oh, when I was in high school, when I was just in college, when they were just getting out and their whole life was ahead of them. And some of them would just say, oh yeah, yesterday or today. Aww. And it's just really, it teaches you, I don't know, it just really is I realize that I like people and I like learning about people and just, getting that positive thing from them. I don't know.
I think the best doctors are people.
Yeah, that you just can talk to them. And yeah, I mean, I agree. And, my dad as a dermatologist, he's taught me like the most wonderful things. He's like I actually think that I became a doctor that sort of was able to relate to my patients and was very intent on developing a good bedside manner because of him, because I was essentially taking over a lot of his patients and all his patients would come in and I'd meet them and say, oh, you're his daughter. I love your father. Aww. I'll be like, well, dang it, you're going to like me too. I'm going to make sure you like me too. that kind of thing. So I would work at it a little more. And so I would develop my skills a little bit to be able to talk to people. And it's about reading people too, I feel like, and getting to know them. And, he's always just really given me great advice that he's like not a very aggressive person. He's very like calm and, he's just really a good people person in a way. So I think that it was always really nice to learn from him and to kind of, get those skills from him and just build upon them.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Mm-hmm. What a treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to meet him.
What a gift.
He's a lovely guy.
Love to meet him.
He'll play the ukulele for you.
No.
He'll sing. He's self-taught. He's quite an amazing guy. My mom is a fantastic cook. My dad is like just this really cool, this little diminutive guy, but like he has some skills that will knock your socks off.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wife of the Party is sponsored by BetterHelp. I mean, have you ever been in therapy? I have been in therapy for a long time. When I started therapy, I started it because I found that some really key relationships were not making me happy. They were making me unhappy, and I needed to figure out why. And being in therapy helped me figure out why and made making changes in my life feel supported and feel positive because I had a professional helping me kind of figure out what I needed to know to move forward. It was a really important moment in my life because I could have continued in those same bad relationships, but I decided to get help, to get therapy, and to stop making the same choices over and over again. I can't tell you how much therapy has meant to me and has changed my life. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, why don't you give BetterHelp a try? It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and it's suited to your schedule. So you know what? You can find a time to sit on your couch and open your computer and talk to somebody for an hour to make your life better. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire, and they'll match you with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime at no additional charge. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/wife today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/wife. Booty BO sounds funny, doesn't it? Well, it's not funny when you're in a big car full of stinky Girl Scouts. It's stanky. Booty BO is stanky. Any kind of BO. No thanks. So last camping trip, I took a ton of Lume products with me. In particular, I took the body deodorant wipes and I took the cream, the deodorant cream, because a lot of teenagers have a lot of stank. And let me tell you, Lume worked. It was awesome. It smells great and it lasts for 72 hours. They have all different kinds of great products. Whole body deodorant. It's the first of its kind, and it's seriously safe to use anywhere on your body, your armpits, your under boobs, your thigh folds, your belly button, your butt crack, and more. It's created by an OBGYN who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. It's aluminum-free, baking soda-free, and paraben-free. pH balanced for safe use below the belt, if you know what I mean. Lume's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like a mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off a Lume starter pack with code WIFE30 at LumeDeodorant.com. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack when you visit LumeDeodorant.com and use code WIFE30. What's your least favorite part of your job?
You want to get me started? It's because it's like it has become so difficult in the last few years, especially even with the pandemic and being in healthcare and just all the hoops we have to jump through. Like you can't. It's not the same as when my dad was a doctor, And I think there are all these things that you have to do that are so useless, but just meant to be there to make it difficult. So you're just like, I give up. I'm not going to order that test for somebody because, it's so hard for me to get it or get that prescription because, essentially the insurance companies don't want to pay for it or they, they don't want to pay for this person to see that other doctor. So they try to persuade you or make it difficult to not do that. So there's a lot of business that gets in the way of practicing medicine. So I think that's the tough part about it. And it was really hard during COVID too, to come back from that because just people wanted to work in a different way. We can't work remotely. So it's a lot harder to find people that are going to work in person and, all that kind of stuff. So
the business piece of it.
Yeah, it was really hard to deal with that. And I would also say too, though, the show is also, though I love it and I love these opportunities that I get and the exciting things I get to do, it's very stressful to do that show. I mean, to have all these cameras on you and to have these people who come from different continents and they come and they think you're the only one that can help you, or they have all this trust in you because they know you. And I feel like that's a lot of pressure on me. I don't want to be the one. I'm not the one, not necessarily. There was so many other people that are more accomplished than I am that can do this. I just happen to be the person that has my face out there doing this little dance,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that would be a real, that sounds like a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's just a stress that I did not expect. I mean, dermatology is not supposed to be this, it's supposed to be one of the easier specialties to be in. You don't get calls, you don't deal with a lot of life-threatening emergencies. But here I am dealing with really big growths and people that are at their last, their wits' end. And there's a lot of pressure there, So,
yeah.
So it's hard. But again, I'm really proud of the show and what we get to do. And I think what I really love about it, and I'll see this with like my friends and their kids, like their kids will watch the show and then they'll point out somebody that might have something, but you immediately may treat them a different way from the get-go because you realize that person obviously has feelings about this and is embarrassed about whatever condition they have. And so you might firstly not be scared of them so much anymore, not treat them like, oh, I'm not going to talk to you, I'm going to walk the other way, but maybe open yourself up and realize this is a person that has feelings and really try to connect with them.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of youngsters do that. It's weird because I have like young people that come to my office that want to like a 9-year-old for their birthday, their wish is to come to my office and to meet me. Like, that's crazy.
That's amazing.
It is amazing, but it's also crazy. You're going to a doctor's office.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a weird thing. So I'm really proud of that.
But look what you did. You normalized medicine, right?
Yeah.
You normalized. Yes. No one wanted to. I hate going to the dermatologist. Sorry.
No, I get that's
but
okay.
I am
That's
freckled from here.
You're a dermatologist's
down.
dream.
I know.
Yes.
But every time, the first time I went to a dermatologist as an adult, I obviously got naked and she went, whoa, that's a lot of skin damage. And I went, I don't want to hear that.
That's not the right thing to say, though. I'm sorry.
She was like, okay.
Yes.
Let's take a look. I'm going to have to take a really close look because I'm very, very freckled.
Yeah.
But at the same time, watching your show, because it's so solution oriented most of the time, then I think at least to me, it would make me go, well, this is pretty simple. Just go have it looked at and have it taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would imagine it's done that for a lot of people. It makes it less scary.
Yeah, I do think it's less scary. And actually, even other dermatologists. So that was one of the biggest thing that I was probably the most scared about is having the acceptance of other dermatologists. I didn't want them to think, oh my gosh, she is making our specialty look like foolish, making a mockery of it. But the fact that I think in general, I get dermatologists saying thank you for what you've done, that you showed that we're more than just pimple poppers.
Yeah.
And that I feel very lucky about. And they'll say like, oh yeah, I had somebody who came in for a cyst today and I didn't even have to explain it to them. They're like, oh, just make sure you remove the sac and I know what you're going to do. So just go for it, and they're like, oh, this is really easy now. I don't have to explain all this,
Yeah.
So that's a pretty cool thing.
So your husband is in the same office where the show is shot?
Yes, he's in the same office. He is more of a medical and surgical dermatologist. I do more of those big cases because I did a fellowship. So I did a little bit more like cosmetic surgery and cosmetic kind of things. And I've always been more surgically oriented. So he's there. We work together. We work together day in and day out. But the only way that works, because people ask us, is because I don't answer to him and he doesn't answer to me. That would make it really hard.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. Probably the same with you guys. You guys kind of do things along a parallel course, but you can bounce things off of each other, right? Get advice and you trust that person's advice.
Yes, that's true. And we do collaborate a lot on creative things, but there's definitely... Do you think you could have been a dermatologist? Would you go into this business? You didn't really love it, but does Bert think that he could be a dermatologist? Is he the kind of like he's watched a couple? He loves to do that shit. Listen, I used to have Okay, you're going to know what this is because you're a dermatologist. I have no idea what this is. But in high school, I had a really hard knot right here. And when I popped it, something came out that looked like a sesame seed and it left a hole. And the hole stayed there forever. And then probably about 5 years ago, the hole started swelling and getting really irritated. And from time to time, you could squeeze it and a little stuff would come out. And that was Bert's favorite thing on my entire body. Was that hole in my face when he was like, is it full?
You're like, is it ready?
Can I just pop it? Can I just pop it? And I'd be like, dude, you got to stay off my shit, man, because when you pop it too hard, it starts swelling up and gets irritated.
Yeah,
You're like
that's
irritating
on your face,
it.
yes.
And don't do that. And it hurts. But at a certain point, it just wouldn't go back down. So I went to my dermatologist and they thought it was some type of cancer. So they wanted to take it off. And it wasn't. It was, I don't even know what it was.
It's like a dilated pore. It was like a
Something,
little blackhead that just filled up. Like you have a dilated pore that stays open and then it just fills and collects. And that's why he can get his joints and squeeze it out because you have to cut it out and excise it for it to not come back.
That's right. So that's what they did. So I have a big scar right here. And he's like, he still brings it up.
So he misses it, he said.
He misses it
caresses
so much.
it a little bit and says,
he's like,
well, we'll have to
it's
make
one of my
him
favorite things.
I'll make him some blackhead Rice Krispies because you can actually squeeze the blackheads out of it and eat it.
That's hysterical.
Wouldn't that be a dream?
Yes, that would be his dream.
Maybe we'll make them together or something.
So yes, I would love that in our fancy kitchen downstairs.
Yeah,
and we can film it. But yeah, I don't know if he would have been a dermatologist. I don't know how he would do with
blood or stress and like have someone potentially be in pain and uncomfortable. Oh yeah. Yes.
Pus, I think he can handle.
I can handle, I can handle pus and all this kind of, because I have a mask and I have gloves. But like, it actually has messed me up in some ways. I cannot cook like chicken I can't touch raw chicken. Like I don't like to touch it. It's too much like a lipoma or something. I mean, and I know when I take out lipomas from people, like they're like, it looks like a mango or it looks like a chicken cutlet, like a chicken breast. But once you take it out, it gets cold right afterwards. So it's just very, like I can't touch it. I have to wear gloves for everything when I cook. So it's like the opposite. And like even when I've eaten like a cupcake that looks like a pimple, I have to close my eyes. I cannot actually see in my mind that I'm actually eating this because that would just I think I would immediately hurl. It would just be the most disgusting thing ever. But I can't deal with other things. Like I can't deal with like vomit and diarrhea and stuff. No way. I mean, I couldn't be a GI doctor is worse in my eyes.
I would imagine. Yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with that either.
No.
Well, I had a lipoma removed recently on my back.
Oh, you are a dermatologist, Dream. You've had like a little bit of everything.
I've had a little bit of everything. I had this and then, on my back, I had a knot that formed like on my shoulder in a weird place. And I went to the dermatologist to get my head to toe. I have to get a head to toe every year. And I told her about it. And she was like, oh, I think it's just fatty. I don't think it's a big deal. She called me the next day and she goes, that thing kept me up last night.
Oh.
So come back because nothing keeps me up. So come back and let's just take it out. I'm pretty sure it's just a lipoma, but it kept me up all night.
Yeah.
So let's get it out. So I went in the next week. Oh my God. It was so painful.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was. And she told me when she started feeling around in it, she goes, this is going to be bad. Oh. This is going to hurt a lot. And there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm going to numb you. But as I cut, I'm going to hit a nerve. And then that's where I know you need more numbing. But it's going to hurt when you hit the nerve.
Okay.
And so she did that. And I'm telling you, every time she hit a nerve, my legs would kick. And I kept going, I'm so sorry. I hope I don't kick you. And she's like, this is a reflex. This is not you. You're just having a reflex.
That's traumatizing, though.
And when it was over, I was shaking. My whole body was shaking. I was like, am I having some kind of reaction to the...
But it was gone. And it was nothing. Yes, you can. You can have a reaction to
I was like shaking like a leaf.
If you have too much, if you have a lot of it, like it has epi in it usually. And that stops that constricts the blood vessels. But sometimes it can make you feel shaky. And then it goes away. It takes like 5 to 10 minutes,
Yeah, it was when I got in the car.
Yeah, it does. So that's scary.
You
know, that's scary because it feels like impending doom. It feels like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Yeah.
I was like, was I just traumatized?
Can't control it.
Yeah, I couldn't control it. I couldn't control it all. So, but it was just a lipoma.
Yeah.
But she showed it to me and it looked exactly like you're talking about. It looked like the fatty part on the chicken. It was so gross.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm just going to biopsy it because this little guy kept me awake. So let's just make sure. And I was
Well,
like, I'd
that's
much
good.
rather she do
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Then you have peace of mind. I'm sorry they had to go through that.
Oh,
though,
it was
thing.
awful.
Yeah.
And the long stitches. And I mean,
Yeah.
she had to cut like a long.
Well, maybe Bert and I will go over you like a fallen tooth comb and we'll try to find some, give him a little, that'll be his like Christmas gift this year.
Oh my God. The only bad thing is I never have acne. If I actually had acne, he'd be the happiest guy ever.
I mean, I hope your kids didn't have to deal with that too much or don't have to. So she's not chasing them around.
Well, Isla had a good deal of acne.
I mean, it's normal to have that too.
It is.
So
she had a lot on her cheeks.
My kids too, right?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
You have boy to girl?
I have 2 boys.
2 boys.
Yes. One of them we started on like Accutane for his acne.
You did?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not super bad, but they're bad enough that like, I wanted to stop, you want to stop scarring or anything like that.
Yeah, totally.
I also think it's particularly hard if you're a kid of mine and if you have acne. I feel really especially bad for them because I mean, what are the other kids going to say?
Right.
What's up with you,
Totally. That makes sense.
Yeah.
We found a facialist here that does teen facials and it completely changed her life.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep. So she gave her like a skincare regimen and said to her, this is hormonal. Your hormones are changing like by the minute, practically.
It is a lot to do with hormones. A lot to do with. That's why you get it when you're a teenager. That's when your hormones are raging. But I got stuff for you too. I bought some of my skincare line, my acne system. So I'll give that to you, and you can pass that on to. I will pass that on to your daughter
Isla.
for sure.
She's gonna die when she meets you. She's gonna be so excited.
Wait.
She's a huge fan. Let me think of what else she asked me to ask. What is your favorite procedure to do?
Oh, I don't think I really, okay, I have some favorites. I mean, but that's just because they don't come along that often, I mean, it's when you have a dilated pore whiner or a depow, we call them, is a giant blackhead. Like we have one that is like one video on our channel that is watched all the time. It looks like the old school chicken. It looks like the old school kitchen plugs that you'd plug in your sink, like a big black plug. And when the reason that they're beautiful is they come, you don't need a lot of numbing. You don't need any like blade or anything. You just give it a little nudge, a little wiggle and a little nudge, and it like pops out like perfectly. And it's just like, you know what I mean? And it's like beautiful. And it's just so satisfying that way, which is so weird. But that's probably my favorite. But I think what I like is the variety. I think if I did something, the same thing all the time, it gets old for me. I like variety and I like quick procedures. I like something with a happy ending that right away. You know what I mean? I don't like to have to deal with something that's really long-winded. So those are the procedures I like. And like I said, the people. I love the story that comes around with them. You know, these they have their own like personality. They have, so I get to hear that and learn from them as I'm popping out something amazing, maybe.
Well, that's one thing I think you're brilliant at is that you talk and talk and talk and talk through the whole procedure. You tell them what's happening and you just chit chat with them. Yeah. And it's so comforting to have that chit chat, because it makes you forget about what's happening.
It's distraction. And I never talk about like, oh, well, this is going to hurt or this is, you know what I mean? I just try to like, oh, let's just change this. Even if something smells bad, like we don't like talk about that. Like, I don't want to embarrass the patient.
Sure.
I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. And I just want to, I tell the crazy stories, like, sometimes I talk too much, I think. I talk too much about myself and I need to bring it out of them. But my girls don't talk with me. Like, I'm like, tell me a story. And then I end up telling the same story over and over again because they don't want to talk,
You're like your nurses?
Yeah, my girls, I call them.
Your girls.
Yes. Which I get in trouble for too.
You do?
Yeah, like I've had messages or people even call my office to say, you shouldn't call them your girls. That's like derogatory. But they're my girls, just like I call my best friends my girls. You know
totally.
What I mean? So you can't win.
I don't know.
What are you
I think it's a little much. I think we need to.
It is.
We need to have fun.
Yes,
life should be
fun. It's just about love, is what it is.
Yeah, 100%. That's all it is. Especially, I don't know how anybody can get angry at you for anything. You're clearly such a gracious person. Well, I mean that's different.
Yes.
But I mean, on your show, you're such a gracious, caring, giving, and very bright light for all these people who come in and need help,
I mean, that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to help people. And so it is nice that I get to deal within this very specific world of things that I mean, we deal with things that are certainly life-threatening. There are certainly patients that come to my office that I'm like, I can't help you. I don't think this is beyond me. And I don't say it, but like maybe sometimes it's not something that I think is very good, that might be really life-threatening. But we don't have to deal with that so much. At least we can deal with something that is very, very bothersome, obviously is emotionally debilitating, and physically debilitating, but not like life-threatening. Mm-hmm. So that's the nice kind of thing. Yeah. And it can be funny. I mean, I've had so many things that have looked like balls on guys. Like, I don't know how they grow that. Like a woman is not going to grow something that literally looks like extra balls on them. But the guys will get a skin tag. There's like 2 racquetballs banging against each. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's just like on their hip. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Didn't bother you much, did it?
I don't know why it didn't hit you all the time when you're walking around. You
got one set, now you need 2. What you doing? That's so funny.
And we get so many of those. So, I mean, they're funny, but they're obviously really bothersome to people. And I can see why they want to get it removed. And I guess that's probably part of the embarrassment of being able to hide that. And then, having it on international TV,
right.
Then, yes.
It's crazy. If you had to practice any other type of medicine, what would it be?
I don't think there would be another kind of medicine, really. I don't think there would be. I mean, there's like, if I were to do like cosmetic stuff, maybe it'd be like plastics or something. But I feel like plastics are filled with people that are just a different kind of person than I am, I think in general. And I do some cosmetics. I do some cosmetic surgery, like I do liposuction, and I used to do lower face facelifts and things like that, a hair transplant. There's a different kind of animal to deal with. I mean, Not animal, but a different kind of person to deal with. And it's very hard. It's nice to be in this room, in this place where you can treat something and they need it to be treated. And they're not going to, even though you're going to make the scar look as good as you can, they're not going to be complaining about that. You know what I mean? It's like, because when you're doing something purely for aesthetic reasons, that's a high bar to, some people may never be happy no matter what they have, right? No matter what kind of improvement you make. So it really is nice to be in this world where you get to do something surgically and they're just so appreciative that they have this done. They're happy with it no matter what. And so it's just bonus if you can make it look really good.
Totally. Yeah, plastic surgery, I would think would be.
I think that's a tough job. I remember the job that I think the 2 specialties that I liked the least when I was doing them and rotating is I didn't like oncology because that's like cancer doctors. And it was just so, I don't know, it's just very hard. Always the nicest, most wonderful people. And they're going through the most tragic times in their life. And it's just so like depressing, it was really hard for me. And then even like little kids too, it was really hard for me to see them go through things. I just couldn't.
You mean like pediatrics?
Yeah, like pediatrics. If there's somebody coming in that's really sick or like something emergent, I mean, I couldn't handle it. So yeah, I never really liked those. I don't like dealing with people that are not alive. It freaks me out. Yeah. So, it was, I think that dermatology was really the only way to go. Thankfully, I got in because it's a really hard specialty to get into.
Is it really?
It's actually probably arguably the most competitive.
Really?
It's very hard to get into it because there's very few spots. There's very few dermatology residencies, positions you can get. And also the lifestyle is supposedly the best because you don't have a lot of life-threatening emergencies, so you don't have to like get up in the middle of the night and deliver a baby or deal with like a appendicitis or something like that, right? You can have a life outside of medicine. So, and you can do a lot of different things, surgery, cosmetics, you deal with a lot of patients that are happy to see you in general, right? You're not too sick when you're going in there. So that's what's really nice about it.
That's awesome.
What do your kids want to do? Do they want to go into medicine at all, you think?
Georgia is a freshman in college.
Okay.
She started out as a journalism major, changed it to environmental studies, and now she's a communications major. So she's had a brand new major every quarter.
But that's great. She's trying to. My kid is going to college for my oldest, and I'm like, he's going to the East Coast, so I'm really kind of freaked out about that. Like, is she far away?
She's not too far.
Oh, okay.
She's We could drive
tough.
there, but it would be a long
Okay, you're not surprising her,
drive.
though. Okay, you're not surprising her.
No,
Yeah, because it's going to be hard for me, like, to move. He's moving to like the East Coast, and I'm like, I don't know if he could do it. I'm just, not that he can't do it. I don't know if I can handle him that he's doing that.
Well, I can tell you this. I did really well till Mother's Day.
Really?
And
that was just around the corner.
Yesterday was Mother's Day. I have been great with her being gone and no problems, no emotions. Not that I had no emotions, but right. I kept going like, some point I'm going to get really upset about this, but I feel really good. I mean, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to launch your kids into college, and she's doing great and she's thriving. I mean, yes, she got a tattoo without talking to us. Yes, she pierced her septum without telling us. Yeah, I mean, she's kind of launching.
Yes.
Then Mother's Day started creeping up, and I was like, wow. Every time I think about Mother's Day, I'm getting really teary.
Aww.
And then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then Isla and her dad surprised me and brought her home for Mother's Day, and I was a disaster the whole weekend.
That just happened.
I know, a disaster. I cried. She walked in the door Friday night. I couldn't stop crying Friday night. I cried on and off all day Saturday. And then Sunday morning, I heard her go into the kitchen to make me breakfast and started crying at 6 o'clock in the morning.
What did your family think? What did she think? Was she's like, what's going on with you?
She was really sweet.
You just felt like you just missed her, and you had this all bottled up then.
I think I just...
Like what? Why made it?
Because I'll tell you, I think why. Mother's Day has never... in my conscious mind, never been really important to me. I've never been like, you must.
Right.
And Bert's sometimes home, sometimes not. But Georgia, since she was really young, has made me breakfast in bed because that's what she wanted,
So it's become a tradition on Mother's Day.
Without me asking for it or even really thinking about it. And her sister, her phone it in younger sister, shows up with a bowl of berries and go, bam. But Georgia's made me breakfast. And some of them have been inedible. I mean, they've just, when she was like 7, I was just like, yeah, you don't know how to cook eggs, but good try, And it's just been there. So I think it was the first time, I was like, oh, she's been at Mother's Day. She's the reason I have Mother's Day.
Aww.
She's not the reason I have Christmas or Halloween.
Right.
She
defines Mother's Day for you.
And I hadn't really thought about it like that because she's my oldest.
Yeah.
And, and it was going to be the first one without her. And it was really killing me.
Yeah.
And I kept going, I just don't understand. And when I figured out the why, I was like, oh, well, I should mourn that because it will never be the same. And then she showed up. And I was like, oh, it was a disaster.
I hope you filmed this for TikTok.
Oh, it's on Bert's Instagram.
Oh, it is?
He posted it on Mother's Day.
Oh my gosh.
He posted on Mother's Day and everybody's calling me going, oh my God, because coincidentally, coincidentally, I was FaceTiming Bert because he had a really busy day and I had as well. And we hadn't got to talk. And his day was really monumental. Like he'd gone on Good Morning America and he was
big day
interviewed
for
by
him
New York
with this
Post.
because I know he's got this big show starting, right?
Yes. So I wanted to see how it went. And so I was FaceTiming him just coincidentally. He knew she was coming. But I called him to say, like, how was your day? And then she walked in the door. So he started filming the FaceTime.
Great.
So he filmed the FaceTime and Isla was filming behind Georgia walking in the door. So they just got me from every side on camera, and I was a mess, but in the best way.
That's really special, though.
That's really special.
She came. That is. I mean, and I bet you she's going to continue that tradition with her kids too.
I hope so.
Be really nice.
Yeah, it was lovely.
I think it sounds like you got to keep this going. It's not going to end here.
I think so.
I think so. That just she just threw down the gauntlet here. You got to do it. Yes. Mother's Day is a day, like it could be the day of the week. No, it's on a Sunday, right? Or Saturday.
It's always on Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always on Sunday. So, yeah, it's weird when they go to college. It's really weird.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm empty nester. Like my other one is going to be a senior, so he's going to go away, and I think he wants to go far away. And I don't know, what am I going to do with my husband all day? I don't know what we're going to too.
Have fun.
Yeah, I hope so.
You'll have a good time.
Well, he wants me to do things, and I mean, like he loves to play golf, and I used to play golf, and I lost interest in golf now, and I'm like, do I really have to play golf all the time? Can't you get into the crafts like I do? Can't you like make a dollhouse with me, or like do some macrame or something?
Maybe you guys should start playing pickleball or something.
Yes,
or
we
you
probably
meet in the middle.
should. Yeah,
pickleball,
maybe
something like
we'll
that.
probably fight
Something that
about
keeps you
it.
active.
Yes.
As nice as crafting is.
Yes.
But I started doing this thing where I was like, Bert and I need to start doing things by ourselves before I'm an empty nester.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
yes.
That's the thing. Just by ourselves. And part of me feels really guilty to leave Isla because I'm like, well, that sucks for her. That we're like, okay, Mom and Dad, see ya. But I don't think she minds so far.
I think she's probably happy that you guys are leaving.
Right.
And she can do things on her own.
A little bit.
Yeah.
If she could drive, she'd be really happy. But, I'm her taxi. So
that's true. She is a little bit trapped that way.
That's the only downfall. But yeah, I think an empty nester can be very exciting.
Yes, I have to think of it that way. I got to think of a plan. It's crazy because it's so whirlwind still, with like the show and everything going on, and just like I don't really have the time to think about that.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you have to, I bet you guys are the same way. Like it's so hard because when you get something like that, you say yes to everything. You got to do everything. You got to run around, just like you're saying. Bert's been running around like crazy. Mm-hmm. And it really like you lose sight of like everything else. Like you drop everything else. So.
You do. But we do things like he had to do some press in Venice last week. Oh, well, and so we just got a hotel.
That's nice. That's wonderful.
Like,
so you can
someone stay with Isla. We'll go.
I thought you meant Venice, Italy for a second.
No,
so
I wish.
Was like,
no,
okay.
Venice, California, Venice Beach. So we were like, well, let's just go to Shutters and get a room and have a nice dinner.
Yes.
And then he had to be there at 8:30 in the morning. And we're like, that's way better than the traffic from the valley. Mm-hmm. So we had a lovely date night. And, every time we're by ourselves, we're like, oh, yeah, this is going to be so fun. Empty nest is going to be so fun. We have so much fun together.
Yeah.
So as much as it's been
hectic and stressful.
As much as it's been, like you were saying, when you asked your patient what's the best part of your life, I think being a parent with Bert so far has been the best part of my life. This part that we've lived in for the past, George is 18
You're in the middle
years.
Of it. Yes.
Yeah, but we're coming to a transitional moment when they both go to college and we get to transition into the next place. And part of me goes, it's going to be hard to top those times together because we are such a good unit of four and we really genuinely enjoy each other's company. It's not that we don't fight. We do. Yeah. We're regular people who have arguments. We've both made mistakes as parents. But for whatever reason, the four of us just have a really great connection. And so I feel
like you guys are really grounded, especially for being in LA and not getting too pulled into all the, you know what I mean? Like the LA things, you're really grounded. You are. You guys are real. Like you have a real good best friend. You guys have your friends here and your unit, and you have your kids, like, right? So it's just really makes it real.
It's very real. Yeah,
that's
we're just
awesome.
Regular people who raised our kids like regular people. Yeah, and you seem a very regular person also to be with all your Hollywood hoopla as well.
Oh, I have crazy friends.
Do?
I do. I have really good. I don't know if this is like you, but because you have a very good friend, like your best friend there. I also have a best friend, but I didn't really have a best friend until my kids went to school and I met her, like her kids go to the same school. And I've always had like a boyfriend. I've only had two boyfriends in my life. Like the second one's my husband. But like but I've always had a guy, like, so that kind of took away from having like girlfriends, really close girlfriends. And that is such a rich relationship that is like no other. Like, it's like, somebody has your back, they're always looking out for you and your best interest and the same, so it's really like, I feel really special that I have like a person like that in my life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It is. It's very cool. And I don't think I think there's a low percentage of women that actually have that in their life.
I think so. And I personally think it's essential to complete happiness, to be as complete as you can be as a happy person. And, it's not healthy to rely on your husband or your wife for everything. Yeah. It's not healthy. You need to have someone to go, this asshole.
Yes.
If he does not put his underwear in the hamper, I'm going to kick him down the street and have her go, girl, I will kick him with you, and know that nobody's kicking anybody.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
but to have somebody to turn to and just go, because the thing about Sandy, I have a lot of friends, by the way, but she's someone I spend the most time with, and she loves Bert almost as much as I do, but like a sister.
Yeah.
And knows him. And I feel the same way about her husband. I absolutely.
That's fantastic that you guys get
love
along
her
together.
husband.
You know what I mean? So you can do things together.
We
That's
do a lot
big
of things
thing.
together.
Yes. Yeah.
And her husband and I are very similar. And she and Bert are very similar.
Really?
So we are this like 4 people who
That's
mix
fun.
and match
Yes.
well, because
That's great.
Bert and Tom can be great because it's kind of like hanging out with me.
Yeah.
And hanging out with Sandy's kind of like hanging out with Bert. And Bert and Sandy together are like the shit starters of the century, those 2 people. And
I'm like that. I'm actually probably more like you in the sense that, I mean, I love surrounding myself. I don't know if this is the case with you, but I say this all the time. I love surrounding myself with people that are just on the edge of being like a real liability. Like I love people that cause trouble. Like, and I'm like kind of an instigator. I like to like prod them and get them going, and then just sit back and see what happens. You know, obviously I don't want anyone to be in jail or killed or anything, but I love just pushing up right to the edge of that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I think that's a lot
I
of
don't.
fun.
I married the most conservative, non-partying person on the planet. Obviously, I love that too. Obviously.
Isn't it fun? It's fun when it's like that, but you don't have to actually deal with it yourself.
Yes, it's the best, because let me tell you, if Sandy says, let's go to dinner, she's already got the reservation booked, and I get in the car and that's all I have to do.
That's awesome.
Same with Bert. He's like, let's go here. And I'm like, good, let's do it. I'm up for
You're
anything.
easygoing.
I'm
you're
so
put up with
easygoing.
it. Yes, yes.
I mean, even Vietnam, Sandy was like, you want to go to Vietnam? And I went, yeah. And she was like,
so
anything
cool.
you want to do? No idea.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just going to plan it. Sounds good to me. And well, I have this plan and that plan. Let's do it. I'm a yes person. Let's go.
I should take you there. I want to go investigate all the crazy surgeries that they do out there. Like the crazy...
In Vietnam?
In Asia. They do some crazy things.
Like what?
Yes.
Like what?
Oh my gosh, you haven't been on that side of TikTok or anything. Oh, there are like things that they do, like, you know, they'll like, I mean, I can't even, I know like I know some of my friends from Iran, they were saying like they'll just dye your eyes a different color. They'll inject it and dye it a different color. What are some of the other crazy things? I can't even think of them off the top of my head.
How do you
They're
even
wild,
do that?
Okay? The things that they'll do to change your face and your look, and they're just so... Oh, hi!
This is
How are you? Can I give you a hug?
Yeah.
Cute. It's nice to meet you. I love your mama. She's so awesome.
Oh my God, I saw a coyote.
You
Oh,
did?
you did?
At school?
Yeah, at school.
Really?
It was crazy.
Was he by himself, like strolling around?
he
And they're like
pounced
kind
on
of cocky,
something.
right?
He pounced on something? Like a squirrel?
Yeah.
Or a mouse?
I don't know.
I think it was
Maybe it was like a
squirrel.
bag of pistachios.
I'll take anything.
Yes. We
That's
have
funny.
like bobcats where we are and stuff. We live like right up against the mountain, like Mount Baldy. And we have like
Bobcats?
Yes, there's bobcats that hang out, and they're actually really pretty because they look like cats, but just a bobtail, but just bigger and giant. And but they come and they drink in our pool and they just chill.
Do you have any
and
animals? Like dogs?
We have 2 cats who don't know that the outside world actually exists.
Oh, yeah.
But I
They're
get
dormant.
it because they would die instantly. We have like a lot of like wild animals out there. We have rattlesnakes, a lot of them.
You
and
do?
like tarantulas.
Tarantulas?
Yes, I actually found a tarantula in my fridge when we first moved in there. I know. I don't know if it was a sick joke or what, but I guess the construction people were putting their lunches in like one in our back fridge in our pantry, and I opened it up once and I looked down and there was a baby but still big tarantula. Like I guess it had slowed down because it was cold. Like it wasn't really moving.
Oh, tarantula. I thought you were talking
the
about
spider.
scorpions. I was like,
No,
there's
we don't have
scorpions in LA.
scorpions. No. I would die with that. But tarantulas are just as bad. They like
Yeah.
have the little face that.
And if they bite you, it really hurts.
Yeah, I don't like spiders at all. So
Meet your friend who
I've
doesn't
had
like
a
spiders
couple of
either.
black widows in my room.
yes, those are not as bad as brown recluse. So when I lived in the Midwest, like there were brown. I don't know if they have them in
Yeah,
Georgia.
they do.
They have them here
those
too,
are
I
like-
think.
Really?
I know.
I feel like black widows are more prevalent.
No, they're
though.
not here.
They're not as much, but I think they could. I bet you somebody brought one over from like
Yeah.
Illinois or something. They carried it
Probably.
in their boxes, so I think
Yeah.
it could be here. But I am terrified of spiders because my dad had a book when we were a kid that were all like really close up, like what
Oh my
bugs
God.
look like.
No.
And I would thumb through that when I was eating my Rice Krispies or whatever, and I just like lost it. Like I was like, that they have like 8 eyes and their face is just like fangs.
Oh, God.
Yeah, even butterflies. Don't look at a butterfly. You
I'm
will not
horrified
want
of
to
bees.
land because
Bees are. Wait. I have a
butterflies
question.
look terrible in real life up close, though. Yes, it's your question.
Okay.
Sorry to terrify you like that.
Wait, actually, butterfly?
Yes, they like look at their face. And
Do
have
they
you ever
have
seen a
fangs
praying
or
mantis
something?
video?
Oh,
Where
they don't they only
crazy.
and
Do they
eat like
spit
an
at women?
entire.
Don't they only spit at? I thought you told me
No, I
this.
don't
They
know
only
about
spit
that.
at
Oh,
women's
paramedics
eyes.
spit. Yeah.
Oh, but I know that if you stay perfectly still, it's like isn't it like a dinosaur? Like they won't if you don't move, they can't see you.
I don't know about
I think that
Oh,
they see you from
I
moving.
think
They're like
that's
motion
right.
detecting.
I think
I don't know
that's
anything
right.
about that, but they do
I don't
spit.
know. But yeah, but have you ever seen? I'll have to send you guys a video. Like when they're eating, like it's something that's more bigger than they are, and then they're disgusting.
Oh, I've
They're
seen
like
that video.
So mean and nasty.
They are mean, right?
Yeah,
They're pretty
but
intense.
they look pretty cool. But
They're
like,
very
don't-
cool looking
okay,
bug.
sorry. What was your question?
Oh, I forgot.
You forgot.
I forgot it.
Anyways, it's so nice to be here and meet your family. You have
Yeah.
a really pretty cool family, I think, huh?
Yeah.
And this is like your home away from home right here, too. It's like I thought it was your home. And then I see all these pictures of your dad. And I was like, wow, he's kind of into himself. And he's got all these pictures up of himself, like half naked. Wow.
We had a repairman here 2 weekends ago who was doing some work in the kitchen. And he's walking through, he's looking at all these pictures of Bert. And he goes to his coworker, he goes, wow, she must be like a mega fan. Like, there's pictures of Bert everywhere. And then he
Very
turns to me and he
status
goes,
of
you
interest.
like Bert, do you, hon? And I go, yeah, he's my husband. And he goes, oh my God, this is Bert Crusher's house.
Oh, that's so funny.
And I went, no, this is not his house. This is our workspace. And he goes, oh, I was thinking
he's
you
going
got
to
a
come
lot of
around the
pictures.
corner without his
so
clothes
funny.
on.
Oh, you're a big fan of Bert. So I was like, nah, he's my husband.
Yeah, that's cute.
Anyway, I was telling her how we discovered her show. Do you remember how we discovered
I
it?
do.
Yeah.
It was okay. Now I've been obsessed with like those little like blackhead videos
Yes.
and like the ear cleaning videos
Yes.
after watching.
I bought one of those ear camera things. Did you ever have you had one of those?
No, I know Tom had one, and they
Yes.
got like a spider out of it or
Oh
something.
no!
It was
Who
a-
would have a spider.
He
in
had
there?
a baby cockroach in his earwax.
All right, I no. It was like it was like preserved in there like amber,
Yeah,
like that
it
back
was.
in the day of the dinosaurs, like
Yeah.
a mosquito.
Like
Yeah.
the
Oh
Jurassic
my
Park
gosh.
thingy.
Yes, it was like preserved in there.
Yeah, dug it out and it was
That's
in his
gross.
ear.
Oh, God.
Isn't that awful?
Oh God.
Yeah,
He
I
got
don't
it
like
dug out in
bugs.
Vietnam.
Oh wait, that was in Vietnam. And
Yeah, he dug it out
Oh.
in Vietnam. They do
yeah,
that
I do
on the
think
street.
Spiders can, yeah.
Like they have
Oh
like
yes, I think
chairs
I've
on the
seen
street
a
and they'll just
video
dig it
of people
out.
doing that. Yes,
Yeah.
but I don't have that kind of earwax. Thank goodness.
I don't
that, like,
either.
collects. I think it's a certain kind of earwax.
Georgia
Right?
does.
Georgia has it. Yeah, Georgia could make candles out of her earwax. So does Bert.
Oh, she does. Well,
Yeah.
she should be like. I bet she's very popular with your dad then, like,
Right.
when it's time,
Yeah.
when she's been cultivating a lot of that earwax.
The two of them together could just gee.
Yes. So who's like the biggest like popaholic, we would say, in your family?
Nana.
Nana's
Nana?
also doing this?
Mom, you don't know what she Okay, so she stayed with me one time and she watched these like animals burrowing in child's feet videos.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know
you mean like
the bugs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget the name right
And
now.
then
but-
she'd watch them getting pulled out or like in
right,
dogs'
right.
ears.
They're called. What is this called again? I can't believe I can't remember it.
Is it a mealworm?
No, it's a. I know people are yelling right now that I'm saying this, but like, yeah, they pull them out and they're just like bloop, botflies.
Botfly, yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was really gross because I'd just walk past her and she'd be on her iPad like this.
Oh,
and I'd be
like embarrassed. Yes,
yeah.
to watch. Yes,
I'd be
yes.
like, ugh. But
Well, you should see my phone. I'll just scroll by it, scroll forward for you. You can take a look at all the stuff that I have in here.
I bet.
I'll show it to you guys later. Yes.
Have you ever pulled a botfly out of something?
I have not. I've not pulled a botfly. The biggest thing I've ever done, like, because we don't have them a lot here, but you see them all over in some parts of the country, is ticks. I had this one. You know, it was actually kind of crazy because I think she was I have two. I have a tapeworm story too. But I have
my
a,
God,
But I
tapeworm?
have a I have this woman, like her husband, I do skin exams on him like yearly, and they're an older couple and they're so cute. They come in together. And on the way out, she was just like, "Oh, can you take a look at this? I got this, like, I don't know, this scab that's fallen off of me." And she just, on the way out, like they're walking out the door, and I was like, that's a ticket. Come back in and bring my camera. And we took a picture, we pulled it off, and it's just, it goes onto the table and then it starts walking around looking for another like body to like latch onto. So that was pretty cool.
How big was it?
It was not huge. It was probably medium, but I mean, if I squashed it, it would have been all blood. It was like,
They're pretty gross.
yeah, those are gross. And you guys see them a lot more in the Midwest or in the South, I think.
Yeah,
right?
I used to get ticks all the time.
Yeah.
as
But
a
I
kid.
had a patient the other day that came in, and she's like, "Oh my!" Her daughter was supposed to come in too, and she said, "My daughter can't come in because she was blowing her nose. She was sick, and she was blowing her nose." And she blew her nose, and her 16-year-old daughter was in the car with her, and she's like, "I blew my nose. Something blew out of my nose. Take a look." And it was like a tapeworm that blew out of her nose. Yes. And her daughter was totally grossed out. Like,
Wait,
I mean,
how
it's
do
like
you get a tapeworm in your nose?
it was in her. It was like, because, you swallow, it's like in your intestinal tract, but like, you hock a loogie or something. You're like, like it could come out your nose. But yeah, I don't even know how she got it because she didn't even go. Because sometimes you can get it from maybe going to another country and eating undercooked meat. That's mainly it, like undercooked pork. But she doesn't know where she got it from.
How crazy.
So yeah,
Maybe she was snorting pork. Just snorting it.
Snorting
It
worms.
came out her nose.
I know
Yes.
Gus had one.
Gus said,
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he it was out of
It
his
used
butt.
to be
You
a
told me.
diet means
No,
until,
that's not. It wasn't a tapeworm. It was,
It was it was white though.
some other kind of worm.
Oh.
I don't remember.
Well, whatever.
cat.
No, worms are good. And we actually do a lot of, we learn a lot about spiders and tapeworms and things like that because a lot of them have skin issues. So that's like one of the fascinating parts about dermatology that we get to learn about. There's like a bug called a loa loa, like a parasite that you detected because you see it like swimming in a person's eye. Like you swim past people's eyes. Yeah, there's like crazy
Wait, so
stuff.
Have you ever seen one of those in person?
No, that's like from another country. And
another
also we
country.
see some very like STD kind of things that I don't know if we should discuss, but like I've seen like something the shape of a saxophone and things like that, crazy
The
stuff.
size or the shape?
The shape of a saxophone.
I was like, Jesus.
That'd be enormous. How could you even walk in the door with
stuff
something the
that.
size of a saxophone on your body?
There's things that we get to see that, not many people get to see. And we have to be like, oh, okay. Yeah.
That looks
That's
normal.
the way it is. Yes.
No, or
so,
not.
yeah, I think I've answered all your questions. I feel like I went to the edge and back.
Right? To the edge.
Have
Oh.
you ever had a really bad reaction to something and like?
I don't think I've had a bad. I really, it's like a mindset,
Yeah.
because you really are, and my girls know it too. They know that like we do not react to things like, something, you never go, oh, that's gross, or that, oh my gosh, that's like, because and so when you do that and you have that mindset, you're not gonna end up doing that, so it's like mind over matter. So I don't really get grossed out. I mean, hey, I'm a mom. I never thought that I would actually run across the room to catch my kids' vomit in my shirt, until like you're a mom, right?
Yep.
Like, you would never do that. One day you're going to do that and you're going to think about me.
That's right.
Because that's what you do. And so, there's gross things that you deal with in real life, but at least I have gloves and a mask on, so I'm protected at
You're
work.
all protected.
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't. Does it smell?
Sometimes things smell, but not, what it smells like in general. I don't smell it, so I wouldn't, like, I don't go and go, what does this smell like?
You don't go up and sniff it.
No, but I would think that most likely it tends to smell more when, first of all, if it's infected, if it's inflamed, that's bacteria, and then it does smell. Mm-hmm. But if it's not, and it is just like skin that has been sitting tucked under a sweaty person's back for like 10 years, like it's probably closest to like toe jam or something like that, something that's just been sitting there, like skin cells that have gotten really wet and just like dried and wet and dried or something like that. That's what it would smell like.
So gross.
I mean, there's worse smells.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad though. My dad had, I guess, a cyst on his neck when I was in high school. And my dad's best friend was a doctor, just a general doctor. In a small town, you kind of do everything. So he was like, they were working on a car together because my dad's a mechanic. And he was like, hey, what's that thing on your neck, Jimmy? Let me poke around on it. And he goes, oh, let's go to the office and let me cut that open and get stuff out of it. So we all went to his office.
You went too?
Yeah.
Oh,
And I was in there with my dad, and he cut it open, and it was the worst smelling thing I've ever smelled. I thought I was going to die. I remember it to this day. And he squeezed it out, and it was like...
It was a very pungent
thick
smell.
It was like the worst cheese.
It's like, what I say though too, it does ruin your day if you get it in your hair.
Oh my God. I wouldn't even think about that.
It's like when you turn your head, you can, it's like
Smell
when
it.
you've
like a
gone to a
whiff of it.
campfire,
Yeah.
you know, when it sticks on your hair, like
Yeah.
it's like that kind of thing. Yeah. You just want to go home and take a shower. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get the smell on your hair.
Yeah. If you get it on
Okay,
your hair.
I thought you meant
it's because there's something
the
on your hair. That's
because
why.
the
God.
pus got on your hair or
Right.
whatever it is.
Right. And I always remember, and this kind of messes me up a little bit if you think about it, when you smell things, it's not because you're just smelling it, it's because you're actually the globules, the microscopic globules in the air, and you're actually inhaling it or sort of eating it. Like that's
Wait, so
like,
then
you know.
fart.
Yeah, you actually are. Yes, it's like the
Farts, like-
minute, like the globules, right? The microscopic. That's how you smell things.
Oh, that's so
But that's
true.
why when you close your nose and you can't taste something, right? When you're right. So yeah.
That's so true.
Yes.
I just thought it smelled. I
Yeah.
didn't think it was an actual
Yes,
thing.
that's why you should, try not to smell it.
You were tasting it the whole time and didn't even know it. Oh my gosh.
That's why everything
crazy.
tastes like the way it smells. Yes.
And that's why we have nose hair
Yes.
to catch
Yes,
them.
To catch them, right?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
But have you guys ever had, like, when you were in Asia, did you ever try durian, which is the king of fruits? Did you try
Yeah,
that?
yeah, it smells terrible.
Yeah, but did you try that?
Yes, delicious.
What? But this is gross to you? I feel like that smells worse than
No.
like any cyst.
No, my dad's cyst was the worst thing ever. It was awful. It filled the whole office. Like you could smell it front door to back door.
What was in it?
Cheese.
It was cheese. It looked like
it's just wet skin cells.
yeah, it was like
Sometimes it's brown.
yellowy-
Sometimes it's sometimes like grits. Sometimes it's like mashed potatoes
it
or
was
egg
like
salad.
grits. It looked like
Yeah.
grits. It was thick and it like when he squeezed it
He
out.
still
it
remembers it like
was
it's yesterday. How old were you?
in high school.
Okay.
It was rough.
That's a core memory for you.
It was a core memory where I was like, "Whoa, that was like evil."
But did the doctor actually like it, or was he like grossed out too?
He was
just like matter of fact.
He is and
Maybe he
was the most stoic guy ever. Nice,
That's good. Yeah.
not unfriendly.
Right.
Just everything
Good
is
poker
very
player kind of thing. That's the way it is.
like,
Yes.
okay, we're gonna get this out. All right, smells pretty bad. Okay,
I
you're
don't think I
fine.
could ever do that.
So deadpan. He was my doctor forever.
That's nice. Yes.
I love him. They still are really, really, really good friends. It's really cute.
Really?
They've been friends for a
that's
long
really
time.
cute.
It's
so I have
adorable.
ideas because I hear that your dad's like a popaholic and he probably wants to live through, and maybe you want to live through things here. But I'll bring some like nice like desserts that you can actually eat, but are very much like pimples and like blackheads and cysts. And so
How would that
they're
work?
interactive. Well, we have like this Rice Krispie that we cover with like fondant, and we put like chocolate frosting underneath it, and then we poke holes so you can squeeze out blackheads. So it's
That's
just
interesting.
Yeah, and it tastes good too. It's like delicious. And then we have a cyst, like an inflamed cyst cupcake. They're pimple cupcakes. So you can
That's
squeeze.
An inflamed
So
cyst.
yeah, and then we have ones that you can probably kind of do surgery. You can remove a lipoma. We usually put like a peep, like from Easter, like little peeps
Oh.
in there, so you can take them out like a little marshmallow.
Yeah. That's cool.
We'll have to do that. We'll
Yeah,
have to do that
totally.
with Bert, huh? Your
That
dad.
would be really fun.
I love sugar,
Yes.
so it's
Yes, why not? It's a win-win.
Yeah, totally. Any other questions?
You haven't really. Oh, you asked one question.
I
yes.
asked one question.
I probably asked like,
How many of your friends are some of them really grossed out by it, or do you not share it with you? Do you share that you know that you like them, or I mean, it doesn't consume your life, obviously, but you appreciate it.
All my friends are fine with it. Like because I like whip it out sometimes and I'm like, look at this. Like, and then, but like Georgia, I know Georgia hates it. Georgia thinks it's gross.
Oh, see, you do have one in your family. That's
yeah.
okay. We'll convert her. We'll slowly. You have to like start off slow.
It's a satisfaction of
but
it.
she watched all of it and we were watching it while we were skiing.
Oh,
Remember?
yeah,
She was like this, so maybe like this. And so
I'm a
she was
little
like,
bit like that too. I'm a little bit like, if it's too intense, if it's too like Oh my God. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't get.
It's such a weird thing that people are like, it's like such a weird, I think it's just, it makes people happy, right? Like people watch them before they go to sleep at night. Like it's like a bedtime story for a lot of people.
Oh,
They'll just fire. They're like, okay, time for my bed. And they're all like their favorite videos of mine, which is so weird.
I wonder if it's that you see something to completion in a short period of time.
I think it's, in fact, I think I've noticed a lot of like cops or firemen or nurses like to watch it. And I think maybe they see a lot of crazy things that are sort of within the realm, but that are out of their control. And so to see something like that is kind of taken care of, that is sort of in a controlled with people not having pain and just you've got, there's like an ending to it. Like it's like riding a roller coaster or something, without like all the other stuff, like the wildness with it.
Right.
That's like very soothing for them.
Yeah, I could see that. I could totally see that.
Which is weird. Yeah. And then there's people that just like it because they like the big crazy thing, and then it's like writing, like watching a scary movie or something,
Well, it's our modern day, like Barnum and Bailey a little bit, right? Yeah. It's a modern day, the show of oddities, because you're never going to see these things in your day-to-day life because most people hide them.
Yes.
And you don't get to be privy to the solving of them, the smashing or the
I feel like you learn about things too, right?
Yeah.
You would have never thought you would have known what a lipoma was or like a cyst, you had to remove the sac. I mean, now there's like 3-year-olds that say, you have to remove the sac.
So cute. I know when I went in for the thing on my back, she said, I think this is a lipoma. I knew exactly what she meant because I watched your show. Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's no big deal.
Yeah.
You're going to have that's no big deal. You'll pop that thing out like that. And then, of course, she was like, sometimes this is like in your muscle.
Sometimes you have to work with it. Yeah, if it's in your muscle, that's hard.
It was in my muscle. That's why
that's no fun.
It hurt.
Right.
That's why
I avoid those.
Yeah, she did not.
I lived and learned. Like I've done a lot of them now. So now I know which ones to try to avoid,
Yeah. So would you have just left, when you say you would avoid it, would you just leave it in?
Well, one thing I do with ones that I think are under the muscle is I actually will make you do a movement. Like it's kind of like
that's so smart.
Yes. Like if you move a muscle, if you flex your muscle and it tightens and it's not wobbly anymore, that tells me it's within or under the muscle. It's kind of like women when women have breast implants, like if how you sometimes will see them do tricks where they can like lift them and move them with their flexing, it's because it's under the muscle, so it will tighten. So whatever there is because the implant is usually under the muscle, so it'll tighten when you flex it because the muscle flexes on top. But if it's on top, it won't. It'll just be floppy, So that's how you can kind of tell, and that's how you can tell with a in general with a lipoma. If you flex the muscle around it and it gets harder, that means it's probably under the muscle or within the muscle.
That's so funny now that you described that.
And we're calling that the Lee maneuver for the record, everybody. So don't take don't write it up. I'm too lazy to write things up. So.
But she did that to me because what she did was she made me like do like this, and then she would move it and then let go. And that's when she said, this is going to hurt.
I wouldn't have even tried under the muscle because it's too much. It's very uncomfortable for you to, when you work with anything that's going under the muscle, it's a lot more uncomfortable, a lot more like recovery time too. Because really to disrupt that muscle a little bit, it's really sore.
It stunk.
Yeah.
It really stunk.
Yeah,
and when it happened, it was.
But thankfully, it's over.
It's over, and it's not.
Yes, and you're good. Everything's nothing to worry about. Yeah, that's so important. Yes. That's right. Any
other questions for Sandra?
Yes.
Because I've had her here already for over an hour. We should give her.
Oh no, this is fun. I can't wait to come back again and bring like all this stuff I already hear. I feel like I'm one of the family. I'm gonna bring like some really great Malaysian, Singaporean food. My mom will make. Yes.
Stop it.
Yes, my parents. Yes, really good. Like, have you ever had laksa?
No.
Oh, laksa it has like a little bit of heat, but you know what's really good about that kind of heat? There's some kinds of heat where it's so hot, like you can't taste anything.
Yeah.
Like it's not that kind of heat. It's like kind of heat that's very rich and round and like it goes away. So it's not like it sticks with you and you're done with it. That's the kind of heat that is like a good spice. Yeah. So that's really good. We'll bring you guys like some pot stickers and some curry puffs and stuff like that. And then pimple cupcakes.
Yay!
Yes. Dessert. It'll be a party.
Yeah.
Well, when you go to Hanoi, there's a restaurant that I will have to figure out how to tell you where it is. It is the oldest restaurant in Hanoi.
Do you think if I Google that, maybe I'll see? Is it known as the oldest restaurant?
Maybe. Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
And it serves one dish.
Oh.
It serves.
Oh, wait, is this that famous Michelin star woman? Isn't there like a woman in Vietnam? She like looks like Edna from The Incredibles. She wears that.
I don't know.
She wears this thing, and she's like a taller one, but Edna with like the big rim glasses.
Yeah.
She almost looks like she could fly. She's like almost like with Snoopy with the aviator like glasses or something. And she cooks like one dish. And she's like, people come from far, but I don't know. It's outdoor.
No, this isn't outdoor. Okay. This is shaka, which is a catfish.
Okay.
Stewed catfish greens.
Like a fish soup then too.
Yes.
It's
and they
called
serve it with
Lavong grilled fish. Does that sound right?
Lavam. She said shaza.
Shaka is what they serve. Shaka.
Yeah, that looks
C-H-A-C-A.
That must be in Vietnamese.
Shaka.
That looks like the address too. 14 Shaka.
Oh.
I
Okay,
don't know.
but what was it? Lazam?
It's called Lavong
not gonna
grilled
remember this.
fish.
Lavam grilled fish.
I don't know. I have to see it on a map because I kind of know where it is. I know
I'll have to point it out.
pretty
They'll
much
figure it
where
out.
it is.
I'm going in end of June. Actually, that's soon.
That's
End of
really
June. Yes,
soon.
the end of June
Oh,
and
you're going
early
to Vietnam?
July. Yeah, we're going to go to Vietnam, which I haven't been to, and it's a surprise. My husband's not telling me where we're going there, but we're going with our two kids too, who are 17 and 18, and my parents, who which is actually a really big deal to me because my parents have not been back for a while, and two of their COVID, like two of their brothers and sisters have passed away, and they have not. They're all very close, and so and they haven't been able to see each other. Excuse me. So it's going to be really kind of nice, but also really kind of bittersweet. I feel really lucky that I get to be with them right now because they're getting older and they're not moving around as quickly. So.
Now, do you like to shop? Are you going to be shopping in Vietnam?
I don't think my husband's going to let me go shopping. I know. What am I going to shop for? Well, what do they have there?
Oh, well.
I know they have clothes that, like, I feel like size small shoes that I can wear and stuff.
They do. It depends on where you are as to kind of what you shop for. But in Hanoi, they have amazing art galleries with original art that's very inexpensive. They also have a lot of embroidery items, so linens. Anything from pillowcases to napkins, tablecloths,
I'm gonna
everything
have to look
between.
for things.
They also have a lot of ceramics. Bat Trang, I guess, is the city or the village where a lot of their ceramics are made. But
did you bring a lot of things home?
Oh yeah, Every time I go,
That's
the two
awesome.
times I've been.
Yes, I heard you going next. You guys are going next.
Yeah, we're gonna maybe go with you and
I'm going too.
Georgia, and we're all gonna go. Let's do it. I mean, you would want to go to Vietnam, I would imagine, right?
I mean, I would not say no.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say no to that.
So Sandy's husband is Vietnamese, and his mother, when we were there this last trip in March, his mother was there too at the same time. She lives in San Diego, but we got to go to her family house and meet some of her family members and have lunch.
Very
And
nice.
it was wonderful. And she kept saying, you have to bring your girls here. I want to show them where, I mean, she's been like a third, like a grandmother to them. She's known them their whole lives.
I think it will be a very special experience for you to do that. Yeah.
And Laylee would love to show you where she grew up.
I'm excited to go shopping out there then. I think that will be really, that'll be interesting. Like I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to slip away.
There's a lot to see in Hanoi. Almost anything you could think of.
Yeah, we're going to go like to that I don't even, like I said, I don't know what we're doing, but I have a feeling we're going to do that thing where the train, where you get really close to it, like some of the, right? There's like you went off the beaten path. You had this special tour to Vietnam. There's like the place where it's like a shopping district that's so tight that the train comes in and they have to put everything down.
Don't know what that is. What city is that in?
I better be getting the country right. I better be getting the country right.
I don't know what that is.
They
I'll have to ask
literally
Sandy.
it's like a wall. Like you have to stand like this. Like you can't. The train comes and all like they have like a lot of wares like these big curtains, these big canopies that come up and they have like everything tacked to it so like it all packs down.
Wow. No, I don't know what this is.
I'm gonna send you guys all this information. You know what? Right? Am I right about the train station? There's somebody in this machine next
We're
to me.
trying to find it.
Are you talking about Bintan Market? But that's in Ho Chi Minh City. But I don't know if there's
maybe
a train.
it's in Vietnam though, right? That's Vietnam,
Well,
right?
Ho Chi Minh, is
so
Vietnam.
that might be what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like it's just Vietnam in general. And then there's like the outdoor market, right, where they're all on the boats that you come up and
Yes,
Yes.
it's called the floating
Yes,
marketplace.
yes.
We did not go there.
Okay,
We were
'cause
we
it's-
were tried to,
Okay.
but we needed like one more day. We went to Hoi An though, which Hoi An is a river city. Is where all the lanterns are.
Oh, that's
It's beautiful.
Oh, I
do they
stole
set
some
them
of
all up? You mean like
They're
in
just
the air?
there
Oh yeah,
all the time.
that's nice.
It's beautiful, and there's a ton of shopping there too.
Right.
There's a lot of shopping.
Right.
So what I did for the shopping part is I bought what we have been calling refugee bags.
Mm-hmm.
Sandy was a refugee, so she termed them refugee bags. So they're almost like IKEA bags, but they zipper, and you can check them as luggage.
Those are like great bags. People would take that.
Amazing.
Yes.
So I brought 4. There were 4 of us that went to Vietnam, and as soon as we started shopping, I gave each girl
Their bag. You
a
gotta fill
bag.
the bag.
I was like, "Here's your refugee bag."
Yes.
So we ended up filling 3 of the 4 refugee bags, as well as we brought half full suitcases.
Yeah.
And just loaded it up. I bought a ton of art there, and they'll ship the art for you, and it was like $30 to
Yeah.
ship it. It really was not expensive.
I had an experience with that myself because I went to Bali and I went to find some artwork, and I found this beautiful like phoenix carved out of wood, and I got it back and it was in pieces.
Oh no!
It was all like crumbled, and my husband was like, see what happens when you go shopping. He'll bring that up when I try to go shopping out there. I'll tell you that. And then I was like, I'm going to glue it back. You know me, I'm like crafty. And it was sitting under my bed for like years, and finally threw it out because I couldn't. It was too much. It was too many pieces.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to do something like that. In fact, when I went to Bali there that time, which was beautiful, my last story here. We went to like, we were staying at a really nice hotel. Some of the hotels there are beautiful. And I went into the gift shop to try to find something. And there was this beautiful, intricate chess game or chess set. And it was like tiny little pieces carved out in wood, almost like microscopic, like little pieces,
Wow.
like little pegs. And it was beautiful. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Maybe I should take it home for my kids. It was like $400, right? And I was like, oh, that's like, but it's hand carved. It's like tiny carved by little teeny hands or something. Anyways, we went, and my husband likes to do adventure, and we went and did this like river rafting thing. But he wanted to go onto a 2-person kayak, though. I almost died. I really felt like, because like we were not like, and that's like the worst thing to do too, because like your husband's like bossing you around, and I'm yelling at him,
Yeah.
kind of thing, because this is just the 2 of you in these crazy waves. Anyways, we survived, and we were walking back up the hill, just in our swimsuits. And this little 5-year-old girl was standing at the side, and she's like, she showed me the same chess board here, and she said $1. And I was so mad that I didn't have any money with me. But like, can you imagine the price? She's selling it for $1. The same thing.
Right.
It was crazy. Yeah.
And you're right about the train. It's called the Hanoi Train Street. And it goes all
finally
through
I'm right
town
about something.
like a foot away from all the shops and all the people.
It's
and they have
crazy to see, huh? The pictures?
Yeah. I'll put up a picture.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Well, next time you guys are going to have to go.
Next time, Hanoi train, Hanoi what?
Yeah,
Hanoi
just the
Train
Train.
Street.
It gets real close.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that was nice because she took you on tours, but she also took you to her home, and you got to see the inside. You know what I
We
mean?
did.
Which is really nice.
Yeah, Nam, who's her friend from Ho Chi Minh City, really
Showed you, like,
showed
was
us,
really gracious
like, where
and showed you everything.
eat,
Yeah.
where the locals
Yeah.
eat. Like
Yeah.
even the Shaka restaurant that's where people who live in Hanoi
Right.
go to eat, not me,
Yeah,
tourist.
the same with me too. Like we get to see the same, like, in Malaysia and in Singapore, my one of my aunts has like a durian plantation, and we go over there and you crack them with these giant crackers. And it's really cool. I remember my husband, he thought, because he's like a total white boy, like does not eat, like didn't eat chicken till high school or something like that.
Why?
Because he's crazy.
But what would
he's
he
like
eat instead? Beef?
bacon and pancakes and
bring
Kaiser roll.
Okay,
You know what I
bring
mean?
it. Where's he from?
Yeah, he's from Armonk, Westchester County, New York.
Oh, okay.
So, and he, anyways, he's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose all this weight there. I can't eat anything. He like gained 10 pounds. Like he ate so much food there because it's good.
Because it's good.
But yeah, I remember one time we were traveling through a town, and he was like, we're like, let's just stop here and eat. And it was like really crowded. So it was really good food. But there was like there were puddles like in the ground, like on the floor. And like the bathroom was not the best. And he was like, you know, you could see his eyes. Like, it's like, what I got myself into. So, but it's such an experience.
Mm-hmm. It is. She's been to Bali.
Yes. Bali is nice.
It's so pretty.
Isn't it? And the hotels are
really
like
pretty.
amazing. It's like just, it's like effortless, you know?
We did have a scary experience though.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get scary experiences. Did they also, when I was there, they had to look under each car for the bombs and stuff? When I was there, I guess a bomb had just happened like it was a while ago, 5 years prior. And they would like, when you went up to any hotel, there were bomb sniffing dogs. And then they had like a mirror to look under your, you know,
wow.
Under your, did you put your feet in like the fish where they chew on your dead skin?
No.
I
feel like that'd be fun though. Except I'm really ticklish.
Jeff my husband could not handle it. He was like, oh. And my kid was 6. He put his feet in. He's like, I would like to put my whole body in here.
Oh my
It was so funny.
That's adorable.
Yeah, I was like, no, you're not.
Nope, just the feet.
Yes.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Bali was beautiful.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah.
It's beautiful out there in Asia.
It is. Well, I hope you have a great trip.
Thank you.
It'll be
I
really
will.
fun.
It'll be really nice. I'm really looking forward to it for my kids too.
Yeah, I bet.
And my parents. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for
This
coming
was
today.
so lovely.
Thank you. It was so nice to talk to you, get to know you a little bit.
I had a great time. I mean, and
You
so
did?
nice that I got like a special guest. I feel very honored here.
I know.
That I got a little
Shucks.
insight on the family.
Special guest. Well, I can't wait for you to come back and talk to Bert.
Yes.
He's
We will
so
see.
mad. So
yeah.
mad.
Is there any
that you
particular
talked to me
questions I
first.
should ask him, or?
Oh, I think
know?
you're going to have to be. He's going to
okay.
have question for you.
Got
Oh, don't you worry.
Yeah, he might fire hose you.
He might fire hose you. Yeah, he might. He was really mad.
All
He was
right,
like,
bring it.
no way. That's not fair. I should have her first. So,
Well, that was
boo-boo
just the
Bert.
build up, and you know, you can mentally prepare me for that. You
For
know?
next time, yes.
But yes, it's so exciting what's going on with you guys. So I feel really lucky that you guys asked me here and I get to be a part of this.
Well,
and meet
thank
you guys.
you.
So.
Thank you so
been
much.
cool.
It was great to meet you, and thank you for sharing all this with us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. Next time I'll bring gifts. Oh, I have gifts for you.
Yes, she
I
has
have some
gifts
things
downstairs.
for you. Yes. I'm so excited.